There is a major Boston Red Sox move incoming after two of the top journalists covering Boston sports suggest that Kyle Schwarber is at the top of the offseason list going into this offseason. I'm here to break down both of those reports and whether or not Kyle Schwarber would be the dream fit in Boston this offseason. We'll break down all of that on this episode of Red Sox Digest. But first, please do remember to scroll down and click that subscribe button to stay up to date with everything Boston Red Sox, not only by YouTube video, but also live stream, as we are going to be doing them weekly through the off season. Thank you guys for all the support, but now let's get to it and break down how it is time for Schwarber in Boston once again. Yes, he had a tenure in Boston. It was short-lived. But without a doubt, wherever Kyle Schwarber ends up playing baseball, he is electrifying. And yes, the swing and miss stuff might be a bit out of control, and the K percentages might not be what you're really looking for. But now that he may be available, if there isn't an immediate reunion in Philadelphia, it seems like Boston is going to be at the helm of teams going out and trying to acquire the power-hitting left-handed batter, Kyle Schwarber. So, we have a pair of reports that we have to break down. The first from Sean McAdam. Now, he goes on to break down a lot of good points. I will say the negatives are the fact that he's only playing DH. He's not going to play first. He's obviously not going to catch. And he's not going to take a left or right field position from Duran, Wilyer, or Roman Anthony. Without a doubt. That doesn't need any explanation. But also, he's playing DH, and the swing and miss in the sense of K percentage is way, way, way too high. But again, what you are getting from him kind of supersedes all of the negative connotations surrounding him. So, to start with this article, again, from Sean McAdam, it'll be tagged down below if you'd like to go read the entirety of it. We're going to focus on a few quotes. Some things I think reunion with Kyle Schwarber should be high priority for Red Sox. Now, if you click on the picture of Schwarber, it takes you to the article. Now, Sean McAdam goes on to say, a trade is very much in play, albeit not a guarantee. What is certain, though, is that the Red Sox need to take a long, hard look at their DH spot. A team intent on capitalizing on its contention window will have to make bold, expensive moves, and one might be cutting bait with Yoshida, either by designating him for assignment or paying down a huge chunk of his contract in a trade and looking for a true impact bat to slot in every day. The two options there are clear in free agents, Kyle Schwarber and Pete Alonso. Cora has been clear about his admiration for Schwarber, who the Red Sox love, and if a quick reunion with the Phillies doesn't come together, expect Boston to show some real interest there. Doing so might force the club to spend something close to $50 million. Yes, you read that right. And it's at its DH spot between a Schwarber average annual value around $30 million and Yoshida's sunk cost at $18 million. That, however, is what big market win-now teams do. Alonso fits the club as a DH much better than he does as a first baseman, where his defense is more than suspect. Now, Sean McAdam makes a lot of good points and brings up the Masataka Yoshida conversation. This is going to be a hard one to have because the Red Sox, because of the collection of talent they have currently constructed on this active roster, have an ample amount of talent, things that work in their specific ways. But despite that, if they want to get better, they may have to cut ties with some of these players. You've heard Jace and Sean have this conversation about possibly moving Wilyer or Jarren Duran in the outfield to open up an outfield spot or just a roster spot in general for someone along the lines that the Red Sox may want to bring in. Obviously, Schwarber would not be taking one of those outfield spots like we mentioned earlier. He would be primarily and strictly a designated hitter. Now, the idea of paying someone close to $50 million AAV-wise annually is a bit drastic if they're not going to give you any defensive output. But with the bat you would be receiving from Kyle Schwarber, it almost feels like a must-have. And I understand this past season didn't end the way everyone wanted to in the sense of Philly fans and trying to beat the Dodgers and not watching them win it again. But Schwarber, all season long, 50-plus home runs, driving in over 100 runs, I believe, maybe 116. He was dominant at the plate. The two blemishes are the two things we mentioned earlier. The whiff percentage is way, way below league average, and going hand in hand with that is the K percentage. Outside of that, there's not a better designated hitter in the game of baseball outside of Shohei Ohtani. But again, you have to really take that with a grain of salt because he's also pitching. I know he's not playing in the outfield anymore, but he is pitching every fifth day or really whenever they call upon him when he does have the necessary rest. Schwarber's in a different category. He is specifically a DH. He's there to swing the bat. He's there to take good at-bats and get good results, which we saw at just a ridiculous rate this past season. Now, you can argue that the postseason didn't go as well as you were hoping, and maybe that does blemish the overall number that Schwarber gets this offseason, which could be a positive to the Boston Red Sox. But the idea is the same. The lightning he maintains in his bat. And no, it's not just a sense that if he squares one up, he hits it a country mile. It's the spark plug effect. He makes one good swing. He squares up one baseball, and he hits it really hard. Whether it does leave the fence or not, it's a morale thing. It's the sense that, hey, that guy on the mound, he may be very good, but our best guy, one of our best guys, and not in the sense of average, but in the sense of power, can get on it. If he can do it, we can do it. Let's load the bases for him. Let's get on base for him. Let's set things up offensively so when he comes to the box or comes in the box, there's a chance he can do significant damage to the opposing team offensively. Now, Sean McAdam wasn't the only journalist we are going to reference in this article or in this video. Chris Colito goes on to also write an article highlighting the outfield situation and what trades could possibly be made this offseason for the Boston Red Sox and which talent they should be looking to acquire and what seems reasonable. Now, again, just like Sean McAdam's post, it'll be tagged down below down in the description if you'd like to read the entirety of it. Both Chris and Sean McAdam do phenomenal work, so I highly suggest it. The final part of our roster analyst series, if perhaps the most notable, on outfield trades and a potential Kyle Schwarber pursuit for the Red Sox. Now, if you go, again, click on the photo, it takes you to the article. The Red Sox also need to add some power, and there's a very obvious solution available on the free agency market, and it's not Pete Alonso. The Red Sox should do everything they can to sign Kyle Schwarber. He will not be cheap. The Philadelphia Phillies have made it clear they intend to make retaining Schwarber a top priority, but there's no reason the Red Sox can't go dollar for dollar with the Phils. Now, I love this idea. The Red Sox putting their money where their mouth is. And if you're questioning Houston, we don't know if Breslow wants to go out there and spend money, or Sam Kennedy, or anyone else involved in the front office. And I'm here to tell you, we do. Not only in the starting pitching department, which we heard abundantly from not only Breslow, but the rest of this front office in Boston, but in the postseason press conference where Cora, Sam Kennedy, Craig Breslow were all present, we got a bunch of very, very good quotes that are going to be notable all offseason long because, once again, and I know actions speak much louder than words, but we are hearing and being told the right things. If you watch any of the live streams that we've done on this channel in the last 2 weeks, Jason and I have had this conversation multiple times. And yes, it always comes down to actions speak louder than words. But the idea that we are being told the right things and the product on the field from this past season was good. It actually overperformed from the overall expectations going into this MLB season. And because of that, the front office of the Boston Red Sox are abundantly aware of what they currently maintain and how good they could be if they can go out there and add 1, 2, maybe even 3 very notable and good pieces to this organization, whether they are in the sense of a left-handed power bat and more starting pitching. Things could really be good for Boston, not only next year, but for the years to come because of the young talent they have, not only down in the farm system, but now being called up to the major leagues or have just finished their first major league season. Roman, Marcelo, Christian Campbell, Cedon obviously has been there for a few years longer, but again, the idea is the same. He's very, very young. And it doesn't end there. There's a laundry list. Narvaez, Bello. These guys are relatively young, and yes, they have a few seasons at most under their belt on the major league level. They still have a long career out in front of them. So these two analysts, top of the game, covering the Boston sports side of things, think that Schwarber should be the number one option for the Red Sox. And now this has nothing to do with the pitching conversation because that is an entirely different monster that we've broken down on this channel a lot and will continue to because we need to see Hunter Green or Joe Ryan in a Red Sox jersey next season. I understand those names are drastic, but could you imagine Crochet and Hunter Green or Crochet and Joe Ryan rounding out the 1 and 2 spots in that starting rotation? This team would be absolutely terrifying to any and everyone in the MLB. Once again, the flaws in Schwarber's game. He's only a DH. He's giving you zero, and I mean zero defensive presence. His at the plate, the only real two blemishes, and they go hand in hand once again, is one, the whiff percentage, which again then correlates to the K percentage. So the amount of times Schwarber swings and flat out misses the baseball, no foul tips, no balls in play, it is not good. It's the bottom 5th percentile of the entirety of the league. That's bad. But what do you get with that, as well as the K percentage, which is bottom 11 in the league? You get 100 percentile in hard hit rate. You get 99th percentile in barrel percentage. You get 98th percentile in average exit velocity. You get 99th percentile in expected slugging. 98th percentile in expected WOBA. These things, this is not just a fairy tale season. This is not something that, wow, he had one crazy year, he'll never do it again. Kyle Schwarber has done this for a long time, and maybe not to the level at which we saw it last year, but this is who Kyle Schwarber is. Not a great average guy, but when he's hot, it feels like you can literally throw him anything at any spot, anywhere relatively close to the plate or the batter's box, and he's going to hit it a country mile. It's something the Red Sox needed desperately towards the end of this past regular season and into the postseason, where obtaining runs and scoring runs was difficult to say the least. Let me know down below. Would you pick Kyle Schwarber or would you pick Pete Alonso as the Red Sox next DH going into next season? And I will see you guys on the next episode of Red Sox Digest.